we do this.
Yes, sir.
A few weeks back, Ronnie and I decided to retry a place we have some personal history with, a bobcat we somehow let get away from us. We just got done calling the opposite end of this thicket with no luck at all, and figured what would it hurt to try the other end.
You know, we really didn't move all that far.
Well, I think we just walk right out there, man. Just try it.
Let's do it.
As crazy as it sounds, we only moved about 500 yards as a crow flies, trying to trigger a response from a cat we'd been pursuing for the better part of 2 years to no avail. We had no idea our first encounter on this place would leave us going away empty-handed with only a sliver of footage to show for it. This big cat popped out of this thicket in less than 10 seconds, and we thought, heck yeah, we're about to bingo. Well, it didn't quite pan out the way we wanted. After what seemed like an eternity trying to wait him out, hoping he'd get up and eventually start heading our way, he actually does the exact opposite. He starts looking around, and you can tell he begins to reevaluate the situation he found himself in. The appealing luster of a juicy-sounding rabbit had begun to wear off, until he finally just disappears into the darkness, never to be seen again.
You know, that ain't 500 or 600 yards from where we just were.
Maybe we'll get close enough to one, though.
Yeah.
You know, even though they might have heard us up there, just might not be willing to come that far.
I'll say this much, if we see a cat on this place,
we're gonna kill it.
he ain't gonna get no free pass.
Yeah, we're due to kill one on here, I guarantee it. We've called cats out of less.
Oh, yeah.
Not a whole lot of timber there, but we've called them suckers up out in the middle, wide open pasture, so. You ready?
Yeah.
Most guys would never in a million years move such a short distance to call into the same thicket for coyotes, including us, but bobcats are different.
Hey, right here, right here.
That's like 10 seconds.
All right, so let's address the elephant in the room and ask the burning question I'm sure a bunch of you are asking about right now. If this cat, with 100% certainty, heard the exact same sound over the span of 15 minutes from no more than 500 yards away tops, why the heck would he only respond when the sound got closer? We know he heard it the first time because there's hardly any wind at all on this night, and I'd run the Fox Pro on the first stand up to around number 30, which is plenty loud enough for him to hear it on flat ground with calm conditions like this. So there's no way he just simply didn't hear it. This was one of those nights where you could hear a pin drop, so that eliminates that possibility. There is a minute chance that he could have been coming the entire time, but the problem with that idea is this particular thicket physically terminates into a plowed field only about 50 yards past where he actually shows up. So he would have had to have been traveling across a wide open plowed field, entered the thicket, and randomly appear where he did after not only 15 minutes of calling on the first stand, but an additional 10 minutes or so moving to where we are now. I mean, I guess it's plausible, but highly unlikely knowing what we know about bobcats, especially at the speed he shows up on the second stand. There's just no way that cat was coming the whole time at that pace. At that pace, he would have had to have been coming from over a mile away, trotting across an open pasture, and that just don't make any sense. Besides that, the sheer timing on our part to get set up at the exact moment he randomly made it into the open, had he been coming the whole time, I'm guessing those odds would have to be 1 in a million. So let's just assume for a moment he was in the same place and never moved, and he did hear it the first time but never triggered. My question to you is why? Ronnie and I both think it all boils down to opportunity outweighing desire. In other words, we finally gave him a close enough opportunity at an easy meal he simply couldn't refuse it and had to come check it out. Whereas before, his desire to chase something down was not high enough to travel that far. But when all he had to do was get up and go from the bedroom to the living room, it was just an opportunity he couldn't let pass him by. You know, we've heard guys say you must move a mile between stands to be successful. Well, that really all depends on the terrain and what species you're targeting. Coyotes are one thing, but cats are a whole different story. And I bet the guy that told me you must move a mile before you make another call, he probably would have drove right by this one. You know, this exact situation just goes to show there's no generic rule like you must move a mile between stands that fits across the board, because each situation is different. We knew there was likely at least one cat still left in this little thicket, so choosing to step out of our own box and try him from a different angle turned out to be a great call. I think a lot of times it's easy for a predator hunter to fall into a trap of calling a place from the exact same location every time they hunt it, based on history. Sometimes that works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But if you're struggling to get a response on a place like we were here, sometimes just simply changing the angle the sound is coming from can trigger a response. You know, this situation for us is just like a bass fisherman casting at the same stump over and over because he knows there's a fish there, and slightly changing the angle of each cast until he triggered a response and got him to bite. As crazy as that sounds, I believe predators can be the same way sometimes, especially bobcats. Sometimes if your gut is telling you there's one there, sometimes the difference maker is making multiple casts from different angles till he finally bites. We really wanted you all to see firsthand how this stand plays out, so we'll keep it rolling. But for a moment, let's switch gears and talk about something we feel is important for every night hunter to think about. A few weeks prior to this night, we were out hunting and honestly having a really slow night. We'd already made several blank stands, and while in the truck going to another spot, Ronnie says, "I wonder if we're just overthinking some of these places." And I thought to myself, you know, you may be exactly right. If you really think about it, quote unquote, history with a specific location or what you've done in the past on a place is only a starting point to formulate a plan of attack of how to hunt it. Sometimes going by history will work, and sometimes it won't. But if you're closed-minded and dead set in your mind, you must hunt it from the exact same spot every single time you hunt it, you may be passing right by opportunities at animals willing to come to your Foxborough. A good scenario of this exact situation was just the other night. We were headed into a place to make a stand where we always do, and on the way in, we spot a coyote with thermal already on his feet looking for a meal. We then chose to stop the truck and get out and try him. Now, based on the way this place looked in this particular spot, we would have never intentionally made a stand right here, just solely based on how it looked. There was nothing there that looked like it would hold a coyote. But on this night, there was an active coyote there. And from our experience in this area, a coyote already out looking for an easy meal is usually on average an easier sell than one that's laid up and not. I know without a shadow of a doubt we can credit Ultimate Night Vision for putting us on this coyote, because had we not had thermal, we would have drove right by this active coyote to get where we were headed. This scenario by itself truly shows the power of thermal and why every single night hunter could benefit from it. It reveals the ones already out looking for something to eat, and I'll put my money on that coyote any day of the week over one that's laid up to generate a quick response. This right here in itself is the definition of an opportunist. Thank you, Tyler. In case you guys were wondering, no, this isn't the same coyote, but it is the exact same field. Believe it or not, only 2 nights later we catch yet another coyote in almost the exact same spot as the other one. They say lightning never strikes twice in the same spot. Well, it's about to here. We killed that coyote less than 50 feet from where we killed the other one. Both were found with thermal already on their feet hunting first, and both responded immediately to the call. Because we took the time to take advantage of a situation that was out of our normal routine. If there's ever a reason to give Ultimate Night Vision a call, situations like this are it. Well, after a 5-minute break he took trying to decide what to do, we finally coaxed him enough to come on our way. Let's just see how this all unfolds.
Sure enough, man. Holy moly.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why we do this.
Yes, sir. Golly.
Oh my goodness.
That's a pretty good one out there, man. Pretty good.
We could have shot that cat 500 times, but we worked him all the way in here right on top of us. What's he over there, about 30 yards, 20 yards?
Maybe 20, 30 yards.
If that.
It was so much fun watching them come across there.
I knew good and well as soon as you were like, hey, it was going to be a cat.
Here we go.
That ain't 600 yards from where we just were.
You really don't have to move that far. I think you just got to get close to one.
Yeah.
At least wasn't, the first time we wasn't close enough to him.
I know good and well he had to heard the call.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee he heard it.
Just makes you wonder sometimes if them cats, if they're sitting in there and they can hear something way off over the distance and they're like, I can hear it, but I know it's a long ways over there.
Lazy, man.
And then all of a sudden it pops up right here in their living room.
Yeah. What did that take that cat? 10, 15 seconds? He was there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we decided to come back here.
That's badass. I don't care how you slice it. That was badass.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Sometimes I don't think people realize just how much light we put on these animals. Once you've seen an animal do this in person, it'll truly make you rethink what's been preached for years regarding colors and what you supposedly can't do with a light.
The light didn't bother him one stinking bit.
No.
If people could actually see this light, if everybody watching, looking at the TV right now could actually be standing here and saw that cat with their own two eyes, they wouldn't believe it.
They wouldn't believe it.
That's just a lot of light. Good stuff,
Too
man.
much fun.
There's reasons we try to get every single animal as close as we do. Besides getting some really cool footage for our viewers, it allows us to not only have so much fun, but to also learn as much as possible about the animal standing in front of us. I'm a firm believer you'll learn a whole lot more from a live animal than you ever will a dead one. And just letting them respond and get close will make you a smarter predator hunter. No doubt about it.
Man, what a stand. Holy moly, what a stand that was.
That was pretty neat.
That's a big old cat, man.
Pretty good one.
I'd be willing to bet that's probably some descendant of the one that came out and popped back in.
I'll tell you what, that cat gave us nightmares.
Yeah.
Could have killed that sucker the first time we called him up, but
It's weird when you hunt a place the very first time and you call for 10 seconds and you call up a cat. He doesn't cooperate, and then you go back. I bet we've hunted this place 10 times.
probably.
Since then, haven't seen anything.
I don't know why the crap we didn't come back here.
I don't know. It ain't that far. Maybe we were just thinking it just the best stuff is back that way. Little did we know, we just needed to move about another 400 or 500 yards and we'd be right on top of another one.
For me personally, there's nothing better than having an animal right on top of you like this, and them having no clue you're even there. Killing one out past 100 yards is one thing, but doing this is the ultimate night hunting experience someone will ever have.
That's so much fun. It'd be something that I think everybody that's ever hunted needs to experience that just one time in their lifetime and they'd be hooked.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for teaching not to shoot them out there at 200 yards when you can do something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you're not filming, it'll make your night hunting experience 10 times better.
Oh, yeah.
Just to let them come. If they're not acting nervous, and they ain't going nowhere.